60 pounds of armor, a wall of charging soldiers, and one wrong move that ends everything. The front line is chaos. The horns have already blown, and there is no turning back now. You are a knight, and in the next few minutes, this muddy field decides whether you live or die. You have hours, maybe less, before exhaustion alone starts killing men where they stand. Stay with me, and by the end you'll know what it really took to survive a medieval battle, and the one mistake that ended it for most of them. Your first threat isn't the enemy. It's your own body, cooking inside that steel shell. Panic here, breathe wrong, and you're finished before a single blade touches you. But there's a deadlier moment still ahead, and almost no one sees it coming. The visor slams down, and the world shrinks to a hot, narrow slit. Your breath echoes back at you, loud, ragged, already too fast. Somewhere beyond the helmet, a captain is shouting orders you can barely hear. The ground beneath your boots is churned mud, slick from a week of rain. You are shoulder to shoulder with men you may never speak to again. A drum starts up, low and steady, and your heart tries to match it. Then the enemy line begins to move, and the field itself seems to lean forward. The first killer of a medieval battle isn't a sword. It's the weight you carry into it. A full harness of plate is roughly 60 pounds, distributed but relentless, and every step drains you. Contrary to the myth, a fit knight could run, mount a horse, even roll on the ground in that armor. What he could not do was fight in it for hours without becoming a slow, staggering target. So your first survival rule is simple, and almost no one gets it right. Pace yourself. The men swinging hardest in the opening minute are the men dying in the 10th. You feel the impact before you see it. A shudder that runs through the whole line as the enemy crashes in. Shields lock. Steel rings. Screams start. The front rank is chaos, but it's not the wild duels films love to show. It's a shoving match with edges, a crushing press where you can barely lift your arms. This is the real medieval battle, a heaving, warring scrum, 10 men deep, where you fight the man in front while the ranks behind push you into him. If you fall here, you don't get up, not from the blows, from the boots. Trampling in the press killed more armored men than any single weapon on the field. Once you go down in that mud, the weight of your own harness pins you, and the tide moves on over you. So Rule 2, stay on your feet, no matter what. Anchor your shield. Widen your stance. Let the line carry you, not swallow you. The man opposite you swings a poleaxe, and you feel the wind of it against your visor. He is not aiming for your chest. Plate laughs at most cuts. He's aiming for the gaps, the armpit, the inside of the elbow, the slit of the visor, the soft hollow behind the knee. That's the truth beneath the legend. A knight in full harness was almost impossible to cut down with a sword. You didn't defeat him, you wrestled him, tripped him, and found a seam. Now the countdown inside your helmet begins. Under exertion, your breathing doubles, then triples, and the air inside a closed visor turns hot and stale fast. Most people in your place would rip the visor up for air. That is exactly the mistake that ends them. An open face in the press is an invitation. Arrows fall, splinters fly. A dagger finds you before you finish that first clean breath. You keep the visor down, you steady your breathing. You wait for a lull, a step back before you gulp the cold, wet air. The line surges, and suddenly the man beside you is gone, dropped, and swallowed by boots. The gap opens like a wound. You step into it, because you have to. Hesitate, and the enemy pours through and the whole rank folds. Here is where the battle turns, and most knights never realize it. Battles were rarely won by killing every enemy. They were won when one side's line broke and ran. The real slaughter of the medieval battle didn't happen in the clash. It happened in the rout, when men turned their backs and were cut down from behind. So Rule 3, hold the line. Your armor, your training, your discipline, all of it exists to make you the man who does not run. Somewhere to your right, cavalry is moving. You feel it before you hear it, a tremor through the mud, deeper than the drum. A charge of armored horse is one of the most terrifying things a human being can stand in front of. The ground shakes, the air seems to bend. But a disciplined line, with spears set and shields braced, could break a charge. Horses will not willingly run into a solid wall of points. The men who died to cavalry were almost always the men who turned to run first. The horse doesn't catch the brave one. It catches the one showing his back. You brace. You dig your heel in. You lower your weapon and become part of that wall. The charge veers, whose thunder passed. Dirt sprays your visor. And then, somehow, you are still standing. But now, a new enemy is inside you, and you can't fight it with steel. Heat stroke. Under sun and exertion in full harness, your body can't shed heat. Your vision narrows. Your hands go clumsy. Your legs feel far away. This is the deadliest moment in your battle, and it doesn't look dramatic. It looks like a man simply slowing down, one beat behind every strike. What would you do here? Push forward with the line or drop back a rank to breathe? Answer it in your head before I tell you. The right move is to fall back a rank if the press allows it. Fresh men rotate forward. You gulp air, you loosen your grip, you come back alive. That rotation, that discipline, was the quiet reason some armies held for hours while others collapsed in minutes. You slide back. Water is passed, warm and metallic. You drink. Your hands start to remember themselves. And then a shout goes up from the far flank. The enemy line is bending. Not breaking yet. Bending. This is the moment survivors describe again and again. A battle doesn't end. It tips. One side feels it first, in the gut, before the eye see it. A hesitation, a half step back, and then the crack. You feel it now, and you press. Not wildly, steadily. The way you were trained. The line moves with you. Somewhere across the field, a banner falls, and a roar goes up that isn't yours. Men are turning. Men are running. And the most dangerous part of the day has just begun. For them. Because a knight who kept his feet, his helmet, and his head, a knight who did not chase too far or strip his armor too soon, could walk off this field. The ones who died in the pursuit were often the ones who ripped off their helms to breathe and cheer. A stray arrow, a hidden crossbow, a farmer with a hammer. It didn't take much. So the final rule is the hardest one. Even in victory, you stay a knight. Visor down until the field is truly still. Discipline outlives glory. The verdict is quieter than the legends suggest. Surviving a medieval battle wasn't about being the strongest swordsman on the field. It was about pacing, position, and refusing to panic. The three things that keep you alive. Stay on your feet in the press, keep your visor down and your breathing slow, and never ever be the first man to turn and run. So, could you have held that line? Would you have paced yourself or burned out in the first 10 minutes, swinging for glory? If this one gripped you, the scenario on surviving a Viking raid is even more brutal. Different rules, closer quarters, and almost no time to think. Subscribe and turn on notifications for new survival scenarios every week, because next time, the field might not give you this much of a chance. The knight who lived wasn't the loudest on the field. He was the one still breathing when the drum stopped. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. A what-if scenario, not survival, medical, or safety advice. Never attempt anything shown here.